so this student unlocks a notoriously unpopular class right at the start. The class is called Shadow Mage. He really thought he would be raising a massive undead army to crush every single enemy. The harsh reality hit him pretty hard. The class is not totally useless, but it is incredibly plain. At low levels, he can only summon 2 skeletons that come with a 10-minute cooldown. Once those skeletons go down, he has 0 offensive skills remaining. He just becomes deadweight out on the battlefield. No one really wants a shadow mage in their dungeon party. This student is named Chen Shi. He never expected to get an SSS rank, but his mental power hit a staggering 150 points. Generally, folks with 25 to 85 mental power end up with a standard class. Anyone scoring above 85 has a decent shot at something better. If you top under 5, you might even awaken a rare SSS hidden class. Only Chen Shi and the school star Zhang Manhwa made it past that mark. Even with that, her mental power was still fully 40 points lower than his. But somehow, the class she awakened is miles stronger than the Shadow Mage. She landed an SSS hidden class called Voidwalker. They are both magic classes, but the gap between them is huge. This situation made Chen Shi feel pretty hopeless. The Heavenly Mandate Guild starts recruiting next month, and he is stuck. The Heavenly Mandate Guild is the best in Great Sha and a state-run team. Plus, his childhood savior Lo Shu is a member there. A month after the ceremony, the guild visits schools to hire new people. They claim to check performance, but everyone knows they only want rare or hidden classes. Standard classes have almost 0 chance of getting in. Chen Shi felt discouraged and left the ceremony early. Zhang Manhwa spotted him and a look of concern appeared in her eyes. He went back to the Jiangchen No. 2 orphanage and collapsed on his bed. He knew she was a lock for the guild because potential is fixed early on. Still, he flat out refused to give up completely. The Shadow Mage might be basic, but if he grinds levels and finds great gear, maybe he can still earn a spot. Lo Shu, just you wait for me. I will never give up. Right then, his status window popped up with an update. When it finished, nothing about his skills or attributes actually changed. But then, Chen Shi noticed something new sitting at the bottom of his screen. It was a golden trait called Arcane Grace. He would unlock a new, similar trait every 5 levels. Chen Shi had never even heard of a status system having a trait like that. Still, he checked the info for Arcane Grace right away. When he saw it removed every single cooldown, he froze in total shock. In this world, your skill set literally makes or breaks your entire career. Gear that cuts cooldowns really costs a fortune. Even the best gear only helps a little bit. He now has absolutely 0 cooldowns on his skills. With 100 mana, he can summon 10 times. That creates 20 skeletons at once for him. Chen Shi could not stop himself from doing it. He activated the skill right away without waiting. Circles popped up and a swarm of skeletons crawled out. Seeing Arcane Grace work gave him a huge rush. If he grows his mana, he can summon endless skeletons. He is currently building his own massive army. He needs to outlevel every newcomer within a month. Then the Heavenly Mandate Guild will have to recruit him. Chen Shi bolted out of his room quickly. He needed to test his power in a beginner dungeon right now. He made a solemn and silent promise to himself. He would become someone Lu Shu could be proud of. With a golden trait removing cooldowns, he arrived at the hall. He reached the trial ground and was genuinely shocked. Hardly anyone was actually there to take the test. While he puzzled over the empty room, he heard a familiar voice. It turned out to be his ex-girlfriend, Lucy Chen. Lucy said she was in a different league with a rare class. She told him to stop bothering her right now. Wei Xing just laughed while standing beside her. He said his dad hired pros for them. He added that Chen Shi would not be lonely with his skeletons. Chen Shi did not even blink at their words. He completely ignored all their rude comments. Lucy leaving him was no surprise at all. The real issue was that nobody dared to party with Wei Xing's target. He had no choice but to enter the solo dungeon alone. A guy watching him from the shadows finally made a move. The masked man got serious and made a quick phone call. He reported that Chen Shi had entered the beginner trial ground. Chen Shi had no idea what was coming. For a second, his vision blurred in front of him. He found himself standing inside a ruined arena. The system clearly explained all of the dungeon rules. Monsters get stronger as you move toward the center. Stepping into their range will automatically pull them. Once you leave the safe zone, there is no going back. He understood the rules and stepped out without hesitation. A swarm of rats in the distance locked onto him immediately. A notification suddenly popped up on his screen. The monster was a level 1 glow rat. They grant 10 experience points for each kill. Their detection range is limited to 3 meters. Chenshi knew level 0 beginners usually start with 1 skill. Their main goal is not dealing damage to enemies. It is controlling how many monsters they pull at once. Pulling too many monsters wipes a party out instantly. That is why most beginners join teams or pay experts to carry them. Chenshi studied those glow rats to learn how they acted. They respawned every 8 seconds and did not wander far beyond a 3-meter circle. If you cross that line, they would get angry and attack you fast. So he decided to use his summons to act as a human shield. Once his plan was set, Chenshi went ahead and cast his Summon Shadow skill. Black energy exploded from his starter staff. He swung it and shot shadow power toward his target spots. Magic circles appeared everywhere, and skeleton soldiers crawled out in just a few seconds. Since this was his first dungeon, he wanted to go totally all out. He cast his spell until he was completely out of mana. Thanks to his earlier summons, he had 40 skeleton soldiers under his command. That was more than enough for a beginner-level dungeon. He told the skeletons to form a sturdy wall in front of him. The massive swarm of rats charged right at them. Chenshi did not look worried at all, actually. He calmly ordered his army of skeletons to meet them head-on. All 40 skeleton soldiers rushed forward. Their goal was to wipe out that entire swarm as fast as they possibly could. Level 1 glow rats are not exactly weak pushovers, but once they lost their numbers advantage, they were no match for his skeleton army. Chenshi kept getting notification after notification that he had killed more rats. His experience bar climbed up fast while his skeletons kept slaughtering the monsters. As the rat swarm started to fall apart, he pulled a few skeletons back to guard him. The rest of the soldiers kept hunting without taking a single break. After only 10 minutes of fighting, Chenshi successfully hit the first level. Hunting solo meant he got all the experience for himself, which helped him level much faster. He got 5 free points and dumped them all into intelligence. If you use magic, intelligence determines your spell damage and your total mana capacity. And having more mana was exactly what he needed the most. After confirming his choices, his max mana jumped to 250. Now he can refill and summon even more skeletons to control the field. He cleared the first layer, and even though he lost a few skeletons, he stayed calm. With over 30 soldiers left, he walked into the second layer. The monsters here were level 2 gray wolves worth 20 experience points each. He saw a massive pack of them and realized they outnumbered the rats. He activated Summon Shadow again and burned through his entire mana bar. A fresh group of skeletons appeared to help his undead squad. These wolves were stronger than the rats, but they were still outnumbered by his wall of bones. As the gray wolves kept falling, a golden light washed over him to signal another level up. He hit level 2 with his progress bar already sitting at 45%. It was not long before every single wolf on the second floor had fallen to his skeleton army. Chenshi poured his points in and marched his skeletal crew to the third floor. He had built a perfect grinding rhythm. More soldiers meant he could blitz through enemies while keeping his own losses low. Every new level let him summon even more skeletons. His army felt like an unstoppable tidal wave. Honestly, Chenshi did not feel afraid of anything anymore. He kept a few rows of skeletons hanging back as his personal bodyguards. The rest were busy tearing through the monsters without stopping. After the sand snakes fell, he hit level 5. He had only been inside for 3.5 hours, which is wild. He checked his new rewards fast. Every 5th level grants a golden trait and a new skill. He skipped his other stats and dumped everything into intelligence. He was thrilled to unlock a skill called Corpse Explosion. It costs 0 mana and has no cooldown. You just blow up a skeleton to deal 300% magic damage. His skeletons were not just soldiers anymore. They were basically walking bombs. He looked toward the portal to the next level. The next floor was full of elite rhino lizards at level 5. They gave 50 experience points a pop. These things were dangerous with two nasty skills. One was an armored charge that caused bleeding. The other reflected melee damage. These lizards were massive and mean with huge health bars. Chen Shi was not even fazed by them. Corpse explosion turns his skeletons into fuel. He could keep blowing them up as long as he had more to spare. The skill drains 0 mana. These armored lizards were the perfect targets to try it out on. He led a skeleton army into the next floor with a big smile. Right out of the safe zone, he set a wall of skeletons to guard his front. The rhino lizard saw them and charged in to attack. This was the perfect time to test his new toy out. He sent 12 skeletons rushing into the crowd. Once they had the lizards trapped, he signaled for the blast. A vibrant red glow suddenly erupted from the skeletons. A heartbeat later, they all detonated at the exact same time. The shockwave covered everything within a 2-meter radius. He had dumped all his points into intelligence. With his gear, his magic damage was sitting at 40. That meant each explosion dealt a massive 120 damage. 8 lizards were caught in that first blast, earning him 400 experience. Seeing that power, he started a chain reaction to shred the swarm. The only problem is the mana cost of summoning. If he could replace them faster, he would be flying through levels. He popped his status window open to check his stats. He had actually missed his new level 5 trait. It was called Spirit Guard, and it transferred all damage to his summons. His jaw completely dropped when he saw it. As long as he has a skeleton, he is essentially immortal. A loud bellow from the rhino lizard snapped him back to reality. He sent his skeletal squad to finish off the remaining monsters, but a few lizards had already made it through and were charging at him. His Spirit Guard skill worked perfectly. Those skeleton soldiers just soaked up all the damage for him. He checked himself for scratches and gave a quick wave. The skeletons swarmed those rhino lizards right away. Once they reached the monsters, Chen Shi used Corpse Explosion. The skeletons blew up one by one and destroyed every nearby lizard. With the monsters gone at last, Chen Shi turned away and walked out of the area. He had dashed over here right after finishing his class awakening earlier that morning. It was lunchtime now, and his stomach was definitely telling him it was time to eat. He was feeling good about his progress. Back in the hall, a young assassin spotted him and watched him. The guy shifted his gaze and quietly used an inspection skill to scan Chen Shi. When he saw that Chen Shi was already at level 5, he just froze in total shock. Still reeling from the news, he grabbed his communicator and reported the update to Jiang Mingwei. He messaged her saying Chen Shi finished the trial solo and had already hit level 5. Meanwhile, Jiang Mingwei was not really rushing anything and was just at home reading about classes. Her dad was starting to lose his patience. Why were those class records so interesting to her? He told her he arranged for someone to help her level up, so she should hurry. She stayed calm and asked why the rush since she has a hidden class. She knew the guild was scouting and she was a lock for a spot. Her dad glared and reminded her that he runs recruitment at the academy. If her level lagged, he would look bad. That finally made her put the records away. She told him fine. She would grab a bite and then head out to the wilderness. Right then, a notification popped up on her device. She checked the screen and immediately froze because the message was so blunt. It said Chen Shi finished the trial and hit level 5. Her dad saw her staring and told her to stop stalling and eat. He said he would send a team to help her level up before tonight. That way she could start dungeon runs as planned. But Jiang Mingwei could only think about that shocking message. She thought someone with 150 mental power could not be a shadow mage, yet his leveling speed was still far exceeding her expectations. Curiosity caught up with her, so she asked, "Dad, what do you know about that beginner trial ground?" Her father's expression shifted into something strictly serious in a flash. "I need to be very clear about that place. It is incredibly dangerous and death happens constantly. You get better experience getting carried in the wild or even playing solo outside. Even with a hidden class, you might not survive. Spending 10 hours there without even hitting level 5 is quite normal. You really think that place is just a simple game?" Manhwa gulped down a breath while listening closely. She realized even a hidden class struggles to hit level 5 in 10 hours, yet Shenshi beat those odds in just a few short hours. She pushed for more, asking how a shadow mage would fare there. Her dad just snorted at the ridiculous notion. A shadow mage starts with only 2 weak skeletons and a long cooldown. If those 2 pets go down, the mage is finished. You want to level up in that death trap? That is really just a complete pipe dream. I am putting my foot down, and you are never setting foot in that trial ground. Just put that thought completely out of your head. He quickly decided to shift the entire subject of conversation. So, Mingwei, did any of the incoming students look promising to you? She just gave a shrug at that random question. There is one student who caught my eye. Since the trial ground is banned, I am keeping that name quiet. Her father immediately pressed her for an answer. We have 5 rare classes this year, so just give me your opinion. She immediately shook her head at his request. Those 5? I do not really know them. She hid her phone and sent a quick text. Whatever you do, just keep watching Chen Shi. Make sure you report every single thing he does to me. Meanwhile, Chen Shi left the plaza to find some dinner. He stopped dead in his tracks while passing the Xingtian Pavilion. It was easily the fanciest restaurant in the entire city. Every chef inside allegedly held a high-ranking production class. Many of them were absolute masters of their craft. The head chef even possessed a hidden elemental magic chef class. His meals could grant permanent stat boost to anyone who ate them. Chen Shi shook off the temptation pretty fast. The prices were astronomical and his budget was small. He decided on a simple street food stall instead. Then he would head back to the dungeon to keep grinding levels. Just as he prepared to leave, he walked right into Wei Xing and his cronies. Wei Xing immediately started throwing a bunch of insults. What a funny coincidence running into you here. Why are you not out leveling up, young Master Chen? Has the cat finally decided to take your tongue? You acted like you were better with that high mental power, but you ended up with such a weak class. What is up with those pathetic basic clothes? Are you actually really that broke on money? Take a really good look at all of our gear. We are all totally decked out in blue equipment. I bet you cannot even afford one single piece. It has been over 2 hours and we are already level 3. Tell me, what level are you at now? Chen Shi just stared him down and said, "Get out of my way." Wei Xing felt pretty full of himself. He really hated that Chen Shi dared to stand up to him. He signaled his goons to corner Chen Shi. Meanwhile, his ex, Lucy Chen, stood there biting her lip nervously. But Chen Shi didn't even glance her way. She might as well have been a ghost for all he cared. Out of nowhere, Jiang Mengwei marched up and slammed a kick into Wei Xing's back. That one kick sent him face first into the dirt. Wei Xing whipped around red-faced, ready to scream at whoever had the nerve to hit him. The second he saw it was Jiang Mengwei, the look on his face went totally blank. He scrambled up, but kept his mouth shut. On his way out, he glared at Chen Shi like a warning. Chen Shi stared back with pure death in his eyes. He seriously thought about taking him out forever. Jiang Mengwei offered him a meal, but he politely passed. He noticed her bodyguards and finally understood her status. She suggested leveling up in the wild together. He said no again because he needed to eat first. If the level gap between your party members is too wide, you get 0 experience points. Rich families keep the gap under 15 levels. They hire 4 strong guards to carry them through the monsters. After his refusal, Zhang tried offering him better gear to speed up his leveling. Chen Shi brushed the offer aside. He told her to handle herself and insisted he really needed that meal. Once he was stuffed, Chen Shi headed back to the main dungeon hall. That young assassin trailed him the whole way. He was stunned when Chen Shi skipped the trials for the party dungeons. Beginners have only 2 choices here. They can pick the level 5 Frostweasel Valley or the harder level 10 dungeon. Most people group up at the gate to enter together. Chen Shi just walked straight into the portal alone. He picked the level 5 Frostweasel Valley dungeon. He played it safe and chose the normal difficulty settings. As soon as he confirmed his choice, he vanished inside. The watching stalker could not believe his own eyes. His hands shook as he pulled out his communicator to report the situation. He told them Chen Shi walked into Frostweasel Valley totally alone. Trying to solo a party dungeon is a wild move. Even on normal mode, the assassin was shocked by the choice. Inside, Chen Shi found a snowy valley buried in deep ice. A path wound toward the final boss called the Frostweasel King. Normal mode has 3 zones filled with 150 regular mobs and 3 elites, plus the boss. There are 5 difficulty tiers for these dungeons. You have normal, hard, hell, nightmare, and abyss. Higher levels mean better gear and more experience, but the monsters there get way tougher to fight as well. Since Chen Shi could summon an endless army of skeletons, he figured soloing this place would be a walk in the park. The trial grounds only rewarded him with experience points. He really needed to scavenge some cash and new gear right now. Chen Shi took a deep breath. He stepped forward and walked right out of the safe zone. He gave his deadwood staff a lazy swing and triggered his shadow summon. Black circles popped up on the ground one after another. A constant stream of skeleton soldiers poured out. Chen Shi had 450 mana to burn. That allowed him to summon 90 soldiers at the same time. And that is not even counting the mana he recovers during a fight. Over time, his army will just keep on growing. He swung his staff again. The massive skeleton army started marching down the valley. Pretty soon, they bumped into the first group of level 5 monsters known as Frostweasels. The skeletons swarmed them immediately. They chopped down every Frostweasel in their path in just a few seconds. The skeletons barely took any damage at all. The weak Frostweasels failed to kill them and just got torn apart. Chen Shi followed his army at a chill pace. He picked up the loot while getting a bit bored. Before long, he arrived at the spot where the first elite Frostweasel was hiding. This beast was as big as a bull. It was super fast and strong. Every hit it landed came with a freezing effect. If one of those hits connects, your movement and attack speed drop instantly. Chen Shi had zero intention of letting that thing get anywhere close to him. The second he joined the fray, he had his skeletons surround that elite Frostweasel. Then Chen Shi activated his quartz explosion and nuked all 20 skeletons at once. A massive wave of red numbers instantly lit up his screen. That elite Frostweasel lost all its health in the blink of an eye. It let out a pathetic screech and hit the floor. A blue light shimmered over the monster. Then Chen Shi got pretty lucky with this drop. The loot was a level 5 excellent grade robe that added 13 intelligence. Chen Shi was not surprised it died so fast. It had 0 magic defense, so it took the full impact. The beast had 2,000 health and the blast dealt 2,400 damage. He wasted no time and threw on his new gear. That 13-point bump gave him an extra 130 mana. Now he could summon over 20 more skeleton soldiers. With that new gear, Chen Shi began clearing the dungeon much faster. Whenever he found another elite Frostweasel, he sent a mob of skeletons to surround it. He finished it off instantly with corpse explosion and pushed deeper into the dungeon. Just 20 minutes later, Chen Shi arrived at the final area to face the Frostweasel King. The king realized an intruder was in its turf. It stopped moving and locked eyes with Chen Shi. Chen Shi just glanced at the boss, raised his staff, and gave a little wave. More than 100 skeletons instantly popped into existence right there. As soon as they showed up, the whole army swarmed the king. Before the boss could even attempt a counterattack, the skeletons had it completely surrounded. That had to be the first time the boss ever dealt with such a lopsided beatdown. It moved only a few steps before a bunch of explosions completely tore it apart. Chen Shi kept his distance and spammed skeletons and explosions until the boss fell. A message popped up confirming his win and awarding 1,000 experience points. He instantly hit the loot button to check out his loot. The boss happened to drop 2 different items. One was blue grade and the other was purple. That purple item was a staff he could use right away. The Frost Marrow Staff is their rarest drop, but it is only worth 8,000 gold. It gave him 30 intelligence and 300 mana. That boost was huge, especially with his new robe. He smirked and headed out of the dungeon. Meanwhile, The assassin was still waiting by the teleport gate and getting restless. When Chen Shi walked out, the other guy just froze up. He checked the time and saw barely 20 minutes had passed. He figured that Chen Shi bailed out early. But then he saw the robe and staff, and his brain just went blank. He finally understood why Jiang Mengwei needed him to keep tabs on Chen Shi. Once he snapped out of it, he immediately sent her a report. He told her Chen Shi was back, but he had already entered the dungeon again. He soloed the place in 23 minutes. He has the gear, but his other loot is a mystery. Jiang Mengwei was killing time outside the city, but his message made her freeze. She never expected him to come back alive. She narrowed her eyes and thought, just as I expected, a guy with 150 mental power was never going to be average. She had experts helping her level up to 2. Chen Shi took a Zheng class to level 5 in one morning. The gap between them is just absolutely huge. Usually a level 5 mage only gets Summon Shadow, Corpse Explosion, 2 skeletons, and a 10-minute cooldown. Frost Weasel Valley was packed. You had over 100 standard mobs, 3 elite ones, and a big boss waiting at the end. Did Chen Shi clear it solo without a scratch? Jiang Mengwei could hardly believe it. It honestly made her head spin. As time ticked by, Chen Shi just kept moving in and out of the valley. The young assassin started to feel pretty numb. He could only watch as Chen Shi wrecked the dungeon over and over again. With more runs, he got better. The staff and rope boosted his mana, letting his skeleton army grow even bigger. It was not long before the evening finally began to set in. Chen Shi finally walked out. The assassin reported, "Miss, he is out. He cleared it in 16 minutes and already reached level 8. Chen Shi left the teleport circle and stayed put. The guy figured he was finally calling it a day. Jiang Mengwei told the assassin to go rest. She had already arrived nearby, so she would handle it. Chen Shi was clueless, busy sorting loot. He had 1,700 gold, 37 green items, 18 blues, and a purple dagger. But the real prize was a level 10 Forge Realm Blood token. It could unlock a special dungeon of the same level. Forge Realm dungeons need a party to enter. They offer way more experience and better gear than regular dungeons. These tokens are rare drops from 5-player dungeons. They are tough but offer way better rewards and experience than regular runs. These tokens go for 30,000 gold on the market, but Chen Shi had zero interest in selling that thing. He would have plenty of cash once he sold off the rest of his gear. What he really needed right now was more experience and some top-tier equipment. Still, the Forge dungeon forced him to run with a party. He needed to find a teammate. While he debated who to invite, someone appeared. "Hey Chen Shi, what a coincidence. I did not expect to see you here." Chen Shi looked up and saw Jiang Mengwei. She was giving him a sweet, friendly smile. Chen Shi figured he needed a partner, so he walked over and played it cool, calling their meeting quite a coincidence. So he asked her if she wanted to join forces and run a dungeon together. He offered her 70% of the loot if they used this token tomorrow. Jiang Mengwei stared at the Forge Realm Blood token with wide eyes. She asked him where he even managed to get that item. Chen Shi just shrugged and called it a lucky find from a dungeon. But it was only a level 10 dungeon though. He told her they could go tomorrow or he would just find someone else. And Jiang Mengwei cut him off right there and said she was definitely in. She rushed off like she was worried he might change his mind. Early the next morning, Chen Shi headed over to the academy to check in. Even after awakening, students still had to show up this final month. Instructors were busy lecturing them on class development and the risks of dungeons. It was also the day the rookie rankings were released. Chen Shi walked from the slums to the wealthy district, a long trek he knew. Meanwhile, Jiang Mengwei's father drove her to the gate and watched students showing off equipment. He smiled and noted that kids always get obsessed with their gear. He asked her how far she was into level 5. She said they hunted all day, so she was over 80% done. Her father nodded, looking quite happy with that news. He asked if that was going to make her number 1 in class. Remembering Chen Shi was already level 8, her mood soured. She admitted she was definitely not the top student. She stepped out, telling him she would be running a dungeon with a friend today. To her surprise, her father got out too, wanting to see the rankings. She felt awkward, warning him that he would probably be disappointed in her rank. Students were starting to file in and fill up their assigned seats. None of the instructors had shown up on the stage yet. Chen Shi finally walked in and headed toward his spot. Wei Xing and Lucy Chen spotted him immediately. Wei Xing started trash-talking, asking what level he was since they hit level 4. Chen Shi could not be bothered and just took a seat. Wei Xing would not leave it alone, so Chen Shi decided he had to answer. He told him the rankings would be public soon, so he should just wait. Wei Xing sneered, pointing out that only the top 30 get listed. He asked how he would even know his level if he did not rank. At that moment, movement finally appeared at the front of the assembly hall. Academy Administrator Li Mintian and Zhang Jinshan, the Grand Deacon of the Heavenly Mandate Guild's Tianye City branch, slowly stepped onto the stage. The students below immediately erupted into excited discussion. Isn't that Zhang Jinshan? Zhang Manhwa's father actually came in person. It looks like someone is about to steal the spotlight today. With the morning assembly about to begin, Wei Xing had no choice but to stop. It was clearly not the right time to continue mocking Chen Shi, so he returned to the seat beside him. Amid the noisy crowd, Li Minxian cleared his throat and waited for everyone to become quiet. He then slowly began speaking. As always, I will be hosting your first morning assembly after the awakening ceremony. No class is inherently superior or inferior. This is the path that will remain with you for the rest of your lives. The rookie level rankings officially open today, but I hope none of you will allow your position to distract you from your own path. I know the rankings are what everyone cares about most, so I won't keep you waiting. Let's reveal them now. As soon as he finished speaking, the enormous screen above the stage lit up, revealing the top 30 rankings from the bottom upward. When Wei Xing saw his position, he smugly raised an eyebrow. Do you see that? On the very first day of the rookie level rankings, I'm already ranked 22nd. Lucy is ranked 21st. The gap between us will only continue growing. In front of us, you'll always be worthless. The second place ranking soon appeared. Zhang Mengwei, level 5, SSS ranked hidden class Voidwalker. When everyone saw that Zhang Mengwei was only ranked 2nd, the entire audience froze. Zhang Mengwei alone remained calm. She accepted her defeat completely because the gap between her and Chen Shi was simply too great. The students below immediately erupted into discussion. What is going on? With the Zhang family's resources, Zhang Mengwei is only 2nd? Then who is number 1, and why haven't they revealed it? Zhang Mengwei quickly realized that his daughter had known all along that she was not ranked 1st. Wei Xing, however, continued mocking Qin Shi. You can't even enter the top 30. Are you still stuck around level 2? Principal Li Mingqian grabs the mic. He says they waited to show the winner for a reason. This year is different. A student actually managed to hit level 8 on their very first day. So they just had to keep this massive result a secret until right now. When the winner showed up on the screen, it was Chen Shi. He is only a shadow mage. Suddenly, the room went completely silent. It felt like time just froze right there in its tracks. But a second later, the entire crowd went absolutely wild. Nobody could even believe that the top rookie had such a simple basic class. Wei Xing looked totally stunned, like he could not believe it was actually level 8. There has to be an error here, because he is only a simple shadow mage. Chen Shi did not just take the top spot, he destroyed Zhang Mengwei by a huge margin. Everyone in the building was completely shocked. Did he not just awaken a few hours ago with a common shadow mage class? How could he possibly reach level 8 that fast? Has anyone at this academy ever hit level 8 on their first day before? You can go ahead and forget about level 8 for a moment. Reaching level 6 on day 1 is rare enough. Seeing a level 7 is basically unheard of. Up on the stage, Li Mingchen and Zhang Sheng both stood up at the exact same time. The principal knows who he is, but even he is shocked. Who would expect a shadow mage to hit level 8? He has the most mental power we have seen here. Most rookies hit a wall at level 5. Going higher takes a rich family to clear a wilderness zone. It takes big money and a pro team to power level you. That is the only way a kid gets to level 6. Some level 7s have shown up in the records before, but level 8? That has never happened until now. Lucy Chen is totally kicking herself right about now. If she had just listened to Chen Shi yesterday, she would have placed in the top 3. Chen Shi shot a smirk over at Wei Xing. He asked him what was up with the silence. Young Master Wei? Not a bad score, he said, but you need to put in more effort. That comment made Wei Xing turn sheet white. He could not find a word to say back. Just then, Li Mingtian flashed a grin. Man, this year is seriously stacked with hidden talent. You guys have all done a really great job. Zhang Zhengsheng scanned the crowd with a really intense look. He was clearly trying to track down Chen Shi. Jiang Minghui talked a ton about some shadow mage yesterday. By this morning, she was pretty sure she would not be taking first place. She definitely knew a thing or two about it. Li Mingtian explained the rules for dungeon diving and hunting monsters in the wild. He finally wrapped things up and called it a day. Go chat with your instructors if you still have any questions. You are all dismissed and free to go home now. The Grand Assembly finally wrapped up for the day. Everyone was still in shock that a shadow mage snatched the top spot. Chen Shi was walking off the field when Lu Shi Chen suddenly blocked his path. She gave him a look full of pure apology. I'm so sorry about what happened yesterday, Chen Shi. Chen Shi decided to cut her off right there. Did you end up meeting something from me today? Lu Shi Chen just stood there looking completely frozen in her tracks. Back in the day, Chen Shi would never have dared to cut her off mid-sentence. She shook off the surprise and quickly asked him a question. Are you actually heading out to level up now? We should really consider going out on a hunt together. Chen Shi just let out a little laugh. Sorry, but I already have a partner for that. Lu Shi was quickly trying to save her own skin. Can you just let the past go now? I only said that stuff because I was mad. But Chen Shi was completely finished with arguing with her. He quickly reminded her of her own words. You said we belong to different worlds, right? Seeing him reject her like that, Lu Shi started to panic. It has only been one day. Have you already forgotten everything we shared? Zhang Menglai did not hold back. She rushed up to Chen Shi right away. Are you seriously swabbing your teammate out so late? Chen Shi just shook his head at her. Lu Shi looked like she saw a ghost. Is Zhang Menghua really on your team? Chen Shi stayed perfectly calm. He just told Zhang Menghua that it was finally time to leave. Lu Shi was stunned. The Academy Beauty actually joined his party. Meanwhile, Wei Xing talked to his father. Their family serves the Jiang clan. Wei Xinlu just sat there, taking a calm sip of his tea. He glared at his son. Did he really hit level 8 his first day? Wei Xing nodded. The ranking system never lies about rookies. His father looked bothered. That family has blocked me for years. Now his daughter is working with Chen? Wei Xing asked if she was recruiting. His father shook his head. I do not think so. A random shadow mage is not worth the hassle. The Zhang girl must want some secret loot. Wei Xing stared at his father, looking completely lost. Poor Chen Shi comes from the slums. How could he possibly afford high-level items? His father broke it down for him. No rookie reaches level 8 in one day. Even a veteran team could not pull that off. The only logical answer is that Chen Shi owns experience-boosting gear. Wei Xing felt a cold chill run down his spine, but he is not even level 10 yet. Good experience gear is incredibly expensive. He really should not be able to equip it yet. Then his father finally spoke what he was truly thinking. Maybe that item has no level requirement, he added. Wei Xing gulped down his nerves. That kind of gear is super rare. If it has no limit, it is worth a fortune. If the Zhang family gets it, we are finished. The man looked murderous. We still have time to take him out. That gear belongs in our family collection. Wei Xing gave a cruel, wide smile. He did not care about the gear at all. He was happy for the chance to kill Chen Shi. Chen Shi and Jiang Mengwei finally made it to the Smog Village outskirts. Honestly, it was nothing but a bunch of abandoned, creepy ruins now. This place was ancient from before the whole digital world thing started. When monsters showed up, everyone had to run to safe cities like Tianyi. Zhang looked totally drained as she stared at the wreckage. She pointed out that we were right in the territory of level 13 mist-eye moths. She was really worried about moving any further. Chen knew those moths could sniff out movement from 20 meters away. They attack if they see you move or if they catch a whiff of blood. Plus, they release toxic dust and swarm you. Chen gripped his staff tight, numbered 4 trometers. Just like that, the air nearby started to shift. 3 shadowy figures suddenly popped out of nowhere like ghosts. It turned out to be 3 assassins dropping their stealth mode. Their leader stepped forward with this really nasty sneer on his face. He said he thought this job was going to be a massive headache. Usually rookies stick close to the city or hunt in level 5 dungeons. Catching one alone is normally pretty tough work. He never expected Chen to wander out here all by himself. So now, it was the perfect chance for them to make a move. As the guys crept closer, Chen frowned and asked them what they wanted. The leader quickly scanned the area to make sure no other hunters were hiding. Then he decided there was no harm in being honest with the kid. He said the Wei family really wants that gear you have. They paid us to take you out and bring it back. It is just bad luck for you, buddy. We just needed some quick cash, so we took the gig. Chen was honestly shocked to hear that name. Was this really the Wei Xing family behind this? He had scrapped with Wei Xing before, but that feud was not worth killing for. Would they really come after him over just one piece of gear? Chen took a quick look at the Frostmarrow's staff in his hand. It was just a purple rare item, and honestly nothing that special. The Wei family had tons of high-level members and connections everywhere. They should not care about a common staff like this one. With all their money, they could buy anything they wanted. Aside from that staff, his other gear was basically worthless junk. The whole thing baffled Chen, but his expression turned ice-cold fast. If they wanted to end his life, he was going to end theirs. Chen Shi knew that fighting in this open field put both him and Zhang Mengguai at a huge disadvantage. Before he could even think of a plan, the assassins suddenly made their move. One of them sprinted forward, but Chen Shi was not the one he was going for. He reached her in a flash and held a dagger to her throat. He told her to step away from that communicator, or he would finish her right then. Zhang Mengguai glared at him. She asked if the Wei family forgot to tell them who she was. She told them her father was a high leader in the Heavenly Mandate Guild. The name made all 3 assassins pause for a second. The leader scoffed at the threat. He claimed that if they killed them both, nobody would ever be the wiser. Chen Shi knew how easy it was to hide evidence in this digital world. He shouted for them to stop. The leader looked annoyed and asked if he was trying to bribe them. Chen Shi said he held a Forge Realm blood token. He offered to unlock its dungeon at White Mist Gorge. He said it was remote so nobody would find them. He told the guys they could take the loot afterward. The leader looked excited by the prospect. The other 2 assassins laughed at him. They thought it was hilarious that he was basically finding his own burial spot for them. The deal was too good to pass up. The leader told Chen Shi to lead the way to the gorge. Chen Shi had a reason for this. In the open, these fast assassins might get away from him, but in the tight quarters of the gorge, there was nowhere for them to run. Zhang Mengguai was totally lost here. Why was Chen Shi walking them right into the gorge instead of searching for a way to run away? Chen Shi knew that once they entered the narrow gorge, it would be game over for those assassins. On the walk there, the 3 men kept them surrounded. One took the left, one took the right, and the third stayed right on their heels. It was not long before they crossed paths with a level 13 mist-eye moth. It turned out those 3 assassins were on a completely different level. One of the guys attacked casually and wiped out the monster with a single hit. Chen Shi saw how strong they were and figured he would test them to find their true levels. He acted really impressed. He asked how they were so strong against a monster like that. One of the guys bragged that they were all level 18 assassins. Chen Shi was totally calm about the whole thing. Sure, level 18 is tough, but it is not impossible. If he played it smart, he could definitely take them out. Zhang Mengguai was getting really nervous standing by his side. She knew those three assassins could destroy a rookie team. She could not see any way out of this trap. Why was Chen Shi standing there acting like it was nothing? With Chen Shi leading the way, the little group headed straight into the White Mist Gorge. It is a narrow and deep place with a twisting path. The cliffs are way too tall for any person to climb. Once you are inside, you have to move forward or turn around. There are some Miss Flame Foxes roaming around in here. These monsters are sitting at about level 15. They are not huge, but they look pretty dangerous. A flame burns on each of their tails. They have yellow and white fur with thin, pale stripes. The three assassins could not even beat these level 15 beasts in one strike. It always took them a few hits and some skills to take one down. Watching them fight helped Chen Shi figure out their gear and real strength. As they pushed deeper inside, the three killers teamed up to clear every fox in their path. Before long, their leader got impatient and asked where that place was. Chen Shi just pointed to a fork off to the right. It was a short pass that hit a dead end after 20 meters. It looked like the perfect spot to rob someone and finish them off. The assassins were really excited at the chance. They thought they could kill their targets, grab the treasure, and open the dungeon. This trip was already a win for them. Chen Shi was actually surprised when all three of them eagerly stepped into that side path. He had been worrying about how to bait them in, but they walked right in without thinking twice. They probably figured the respawn foxes behind them would block any escape route. Chen Shi saw his moment, raised his staff and activated Summon Shadow. Two thick clouds of smoky black mist poured out from the magic circle. That mist quickly hardened into the shape of two skeleton soldiers. The three guards stopped for a second when they saw them. They were not impressed by the summons at all. One of them laughed and asked if that was really all he had before dying. Even Zhang Mingwei looked confused, since she could not understand why he chose to summon those specific soldiers. You see, skeletons from a level 8 mage usually only have half the master's stats. Any of those level 18 killers should have smashed them in one hit. The leader sneered right away. Hey kid, did you sleep during every lecture? Do you even understand the level gap? Think you can take all three of us? Chen Shi just gave a friendly smile. No need for a fight. I am planning to bury the three of you. The three assassins burst out laughing. Did you feed your education to a dog? Do you even know if levels actually matter? The power gap is huge. Courage is not enough here. You really think you can beat us? What a joke. Even Zhang Mengwei wondered if Chen Shi finally lost it. A level 8 shadow mage stood no chance against three level 18 assassins. Chen Shi grabbed her hand and pulled her back. He was telling her to stay clear of the fight. He jammed his staff into the ground. He kept casting basic summon shadow. Black energy poured out in thick, steady streams. The dark energy swirled into a thick fog. Skeleton soldiers started popping up from glowing circles one by one. Everyone froze in absolute shock. That included Zhang Mengwei and all three of the assassins. An army of endless skeletons began moving. They marched toward the men in a truly terrifying scene. The three assassins totally lost their cool. Is that not just the basic summon shadow skill? How is he summoning so many skeletons? Kid, does your spell have 0 cooldown? The leader shouted to kill him now. Hurry, he is level 8, so he has corpse explosion too. Seeing the army made things click for Zhang Mengwei. This is how he cleared those dungeons. A group this size could crush anything. The three assassins charged in, weapons ready. They tried to run past the army to get to Chen Shi. Chen Shi remained totally calm the entire time. He moved his skeletons to surround them and triggered his corpse explosion. The skeleton army reached the three assassins in the blink of an eye. The skeletons at the very front exploded first. The sudden shockwaves hit all three men instantly. Chen Shi saw their health bars drop. Then Chen Shi waved his staff another time. The skeletons swarmed the assassins like they were completely wild. Not one single skeleton bothered using its weapon for a normal attack. Once the skeletons got close, they just detonated. It shredded those assassins' health bars in just a few seconds. Having 100 skeletons is like 50 mages casting explosion, so those assassins were only level 18. If they kept taking hits, they were definitely finished. Suddenly, an assassin jumped up and turned into a blur. He charged right at Chen Shi with everything he had. Yang Menwai looked totally shocked, and she shouted that it was a shadow assault. She urgently warned Chen Shi to look out. But the warning came too late since that shadow assault skill covers ground instantly. The guy buried his dagger deep into Chen Shi's chest. You could see the guy grinning on his face immediately. But he checked the health bar and realized it had not moved one bit. He was stunned, wondering why he did not lose any health at all. How in the world is that even possible? The assassin gritted his teeth and used his triple thrust skill. He slammed his dagger into Chen Shi 3 times really fast. Every strike landed harder than the last, but the health bar stayed full. He totally missed 4 skeletons dropping dead nearby. He landed 4 hits, but Spirit Guard moved all the damage to the skeletons. Chen Shi walked away without a single scratch. The attacker was stunned because he failed to beat a low-level mage. Chen Shi grimaced while Spirit Guard shifted the damage, but the pain was real. A split second later, 20 skeletons that were waiting nearby swarmed the assassin. They all triggered their corpse explosion ability at the exact same time. The assassin did not have time to react before his health bar hit 0. He dropped to the floor and stayed down for good. Chen Shi looked over and saw another assassin had already been taken out by the blasts. The last guy scrambled back but hit a dead end. Seeing dozens of skeletons, he begged for mercy and offered his wealth to survive. Chen Shi was not feeling merciful at all because he had the advantage now. Without his golden traits, he would be the one begging to live. The assassin was begging for his life, but Chen Shi just gave him a chilly smile. If I take you out, your loot is mine anyway. You guys taught me that trick. Have you forgotten your own lesson already? The guy knelt there begging, but Chen Shi did not even blink. He knew if the tables were turned, those 3 would have killed him without a second thought. After blowing up over 20 skeletons, Chen Shi finally finished off the last assassin. With the trio gone, Chen Shi noticed his mana had already started to recover. He instantly summoned new shadow soldiers to fill the spots left by his lost skeletons. White Mist Gorge is dangerous. Mist Flame Foxes hide everywhere. Keeping his skeletons close was the only smart move. Zhang Menghui was shaking and hardly daring to breathe. Those non-stop corpse explosions were absolutely terrifying. Chen Shi walked over to loot the bodies. It was his first time looting a player. He scored 80,000 gold, a level 20 rare item, and some nice blue gear. While Chen Shi checked the others, Zhang Menghui finally saw how he cleared these dungeons solo. His undead army crushed everything, and he stole 2 skills without taking a hit. Her hidden class felt weak compared to his. Chen Shi had actually planned to split all that loot with Zhang Menghui. She told him to keep it. Chen Shi did not hesitate to agree. He promised her all the experience in the next dungeon. Protected by his skeleton army, they kept moving safely toward the Forge Realm dungeon entrance. Zhang Menghui watched in awe as this low-level mage marched his army through a zone full of high-level monsters. Every time a fox popped up, Chen Shi just sent a skeleton to set off a deadly corpse explosion. The blast wiped out the monster in an instant while his own skeleton stayed totally safe. She never imagined that traveling through high-level monster territory could be this simple. Zhang kept thinking about Chen Shi's crazy skill. She really wanted to ask, but decided against it. Asking would be way too nosy. She knew when to keep quiet, so she just switched the topic to the dungeon. A level 10 Forge Realm token is bad news. It's meant for a full party dungeon. 2 players at levels 8 and 5 shouldn't try this alone. Most people just sell the token or hire actual pros. See, unlike the dungeons you can solo, this forge requires 2 to 5 people. It finally dawned on her. Chen Shi only invited her to hit the party minimum. He never expected her to actually do any fighting. Chen followed the token signal straight to the entrance. He didn't hesitate for even a second to activate it. A strange force hit the air, instantly opening a rift right in front of them. Chen Shi and Zhang Menghui just shared a quick look. Then they stepped through the rift together. Their vision blurred for a second, then the world cleared up. They stood on a hill full of massive beasts. Zhang recognized them immediately. Those were level 10 black-armored rock mastiffs. Chen Shi knew exactly how these forge dungeons worked. They sit apart from others with levels locked to the token. They always feature one boss and a bunch of mobs, but no elites. Zhang spoke up to share what she knew. The mastiffs are slow, but they sure pack a major punch. They have crazy high health and defense, so be careful. Chen Shi didn't seem worried about a few slow monsters at all. He slammed his staff into the dirt and spammed his summon skill. Skeleton soldiers flooded the area like a gray tide. The map was wide open with no distinct boundaries for the fight. Chen commanded his skeletons to fan out and swarm every mastiff nearby. It was officially time for the hunt. Zhang soon realized the mastiffs were built like tanks. The skeletons kept hitting them, but barely left a scratch on their armor. She got ready to jump in and help, but Chen told her to stay back. He was treating her like a backpack. She was just empty space needed to fill a party slot. Standard attacks just weren't cutting it, so Chen Shi switched up his plan. He spread out his skeletons and triggered corpse explosions near the rock mastiffs. Those armored dogs stood no chance against such crazy chain reactions. The explosive damage chewed right through their stone hides and left them totally defenseless. Since Zhang Mengwei passed on the loot, Chen Shi told her to treat this dungeon like a sightseeing tour. Chen Shi was really surprised when he checked the stats. Each mastiff gave 180 experience, which beats those level 5 frost weasels by a mile. The difficulty was the same, so this was a huge win for them. Zhang Mengwei was super excited about it too. Out in the wild, experience penalties and lower drop rates meant she only got 30 experience per kill. But inside this Forge Realm dungeon, their leveling speed was at least 6 times faster. Chen Shi was carving through these monsters at an incredible pace. Even though the blasts wiped out his skeleton soldiers, his mana kept recharging fast. It was plenty to keep summoning new ones. They didn't even have to lift a finger to fight. They just walked around and collected the loot the mastiffs dropped. These dungeons really offer huge experience and insane equipment rates. They snagged over a dozen blue items and 1 purple rare piece. It was all heavy armor, and since Chen Shi is a mage, he couldn't use it. They planned to sell the gear and kept walking. Just before reaching the area where the Mastiff King lives, Zhang Mengwei finally hit level 6. She was already sitting in second place on the rookie rankings and was close to leveling up anyway. The massive experience from this dungeon just made it happen. Chen Shi gave her a quick congratulations right away. Zhang Mengwei thanked him for the invite because she had not contributed much. Chen Shi scratched his head and admitted nobody else would group with him. After clearing those mobs, they finally moved forward. They reached the final boss room for the Mastiff King pretty quickly. Having handled plenty of bosses, Chen Shi knew exactly what to do. He made sure to build up a massive army of skeletons right outside the room. The second they stepped into the arena, the level 15 Mastiff King triggered the fight. Chen Shi ordered his summons to attack without a second of hesitation. Over 100 skeletons charged toward the Mastiff King in one giant, overwhelming wave. Once they reached the boss, the skeletons started setting off corpse explosions one after another. The Mastiff King took those hits and roared in anger. It went berserk, throwing around rock armor and stone shatter to smash every skeleton nearby. Chen Shi noticed the boss fortified its armor, so he knew corpse explosions were the only way to crack it. He just kept bringing in fresh soldiers and told them to pile onto the boss. Before long, a chain reaction of corpse explosions was blasting all around the Mastiff King. That armor was pretty solid, but it really could not handle a barrage like that. In less than 10 seconds, both its armor and health bar completely shattered. The beast let out one final pathetic howl, then it collapsed and went quiet. Almost as soon as it died, a rift opened up to let Chen Shi leave. Taking the boss down netted him 500 experience points. It spat out 5 items, ranging from blue and purple gear up to 1 legendary gold piece. Chen Shi had a huge grin, knowing he hit the jackpot. These were all heavy armor sets, worth at least 100,000 gold. Zhang Mengwei just smiled and noted how lucky they were. Forge Realm dungeons have nice drops, but finding legendary gear is super rare. The loot alone easily paid back their dungeon token cost. Wei Xing and his dad looked pretty stressed. Wei Xing guessed maybe the assassins just turned off their phones. His father just was not buying that excuse. He sent 3 guys to take out 2 weaklings. They went totally radio silent and just vanished. It is just not possible for all of them to disappear during a simple hit. But if they are dead, who exactly took them out? It makes no sense for level 18 killers to lose to a level 8 mage and a novice. Maybe a third party stepped in to mess up their plans. The big question is whether Chen Shi is even dead yet. And did they somehow snatch that special gear that ignores level limits? Wei Xing thought maybe they just pocketed the gear and ran off. Anyone would have a hard time resisting loot that nice. Wei Xing Lu had a very dark look on his face. It felt like he really missed that obvious possibility. If they really escaped, he vowed he would hunt them down. While they stressed, a subordinate came in with an update. Chen Shi and his friend were back outside the city. Both were totally fine without a single scratch on them. The father and son were stunned by the news. Chen Shi was alive, but the 3 assassins had vanished off the map. What on earth actually went down out there? The 3 level 18 assassins had the perfect shot at Chen Shi, but they somehow managed to totally botch the job. Wei Xing is freaking out because he knows they missed their chance. His partner Wei Xinlua is just annoyed by the drama. You should just forget about the kill for a second. You should be worried about people finding out your guys failed. Trying to kill another awakened is a serious crime, so just let it go for now. Focus on finding those 3 guys instead of moping. I need to know exactly how they messed up today. Meanwhile, Jiang Manhwa made it back to her family home. Chen Shi is busy walking into a dungeon while she goes to find her dad. She walked into the living room and found Zhang Zhengxiang in a deep conversation with an older man. That man was Luofan, and he is a big deal in the Heavenly Mandate Guild. The second Zhang Xiang saw her, he immediately demanded to know where she had been. She calmly explained that she went dungeon grinding with a buddy after their meeting earlier. I even hit level 6 again today too. Luofan chimed in with a sweet compliment right away. It has been years since we met and you have really grown up. Reaching level 6 on the second day is impressive work. Zhang Zhengxiang stayed cold and stern about the whole thing. We will deal with that whole situation later though. Uncle Lo and I have business to discuss, so go sit down. Zhang Mingwei sat on the sofa and kept her mouth shut. She started scrolling through a dungeon guide, but her mind was completely somewhere else. She kept stealing nervous glances at Zhang Zhengxing. She really wanted to say something, but she bit her tongue every time. Ruofan went right back to their serious business discussion. We have 2 huge headaches to deal with right now. Dealing with the level 60 Black Dragon raid and the national war next month. Zhang Zhengxiang understood the gravity of the situation. That Black Dragon raid is the hardest one we have. Everyone is struggling to clear it, but the risks and death tolls are just way too high. Luofan let out a long and frustrated sigh. We really do not have time to wait anymore. The United States cleared it on normal difficulty yesterday. If Luoshning had not gotten sick, they would not have beaten us to it. Zhang Zhengxiang looked like he had seen a ghost. The national war starts in just 30 days. Since America cleared it first, they get the Black Dragon gear. If they equip it to an elite force, nobody will be able to stop them. We will be stuck on the defensive again. Ruofan nodded with a dark look on his face. That is the exact thing keeping me up at night. We have missed the top 3 ranking for 3 years straight. If we drop again, rewards get cut and it starts a bad cycle. Every other country is watching us closely too. That news left Zhang Zhengxiang sitting in a heavy, dead silence. A moment later, he asked what he could do to help. If the country needs me, I can head to the capital. Luofan just shook his head sadly in response. You know we always prioritize our own people first. America threw away countless lives to pull that off. We cannot sacrifice our people like that here. I just came to vent since it has been a long time. Zhang Minwei was listening from the corner and immediately thought of Chen Shi. Between his skeleton summons and corpse explosion, he is basically his own army. Honestly, that was a pretty conservative guess regarding his real power. If Chen Shi signed up to work for the government, he would totally change the game. But he needs to power up fast before that national war kicks off next month. Mengwei looks curious. She wonders what would happen if one person could actually win that war. What if he cleared the Black Dragon Mountains alone? How would the country even treat a guy like that? The guys look over at her. Burofan just shakes his head, saying that is impossible. No single player or epic gear can win a national war on their own. Zhongxion tells her to stop dreaming. Even with a rare class, you need a full squad for a raid like that. Soloing the Black Dragon Mountains is just not a thing right now. Manhwa keeps pushing them for an answer. She really wants to know what happens to a person with that much power. Luofan takes a second to think about it. He admits he really cannot say how the government would handle someone like that. But they would pour every resource into them. That person would get the highest national honors and basically have total freedom in the country. Manhwa's eyes light up at that. She jumps up feeling super energized. She says she is off to level up and bolts out of the room. She vanishes from the room in a flash. Meanwhile, Chen Shi is still grinding away in the Frost Nether Valley. He's running it on hard mode for double the experience. The monsters have more health here, but his corpse explosions wipe them out instantly. His pace does not slow down one bit. Constant booming noises echo through the dungeon. His level keeps climbing as the experience pours in. He is so focused he actually skips lunch. He spends the whole day soloing inside that dungeon. He keeps at it until the sun starts to dip. Finally, a system notification cuts through all the noise. He has officially hit level 10. A smile creeps across his face. He is pretty happy with how fast he is leveling up. He grabbed the boss loot to see what he got. Turns out he found some rare purple boots for magic users. They looked like something he could actually put to good use. Chen Shi went ahead and slipped the boots on immediately. He packed away the rest of the loot since it was mostly just junk anyway. He was really curious to check out his skill panel. Since he studied every class in school, he knew about the Shadow Mage move called Grasp of the Netherworld. It unlocks automatically once you hit level 10. The skill summons ghost hands within a 10-meter range to trap enemies for 3 seconds. The best part is the slowing effect stacks with no limit at all.